Hi friends! It's been a while since my last video, and truthfully I have been in the longest and worst creative block that I've experienced in a while. And in my exploration to work through this creative block, I listened to an episode of Creative Pep Talk, which is a podcast by Andy J. Pizza. And in this particular episode, Andy talks about how our sensitivity as creative people is both a superpower and also something that holds us back, especially when there's so much happening in the world. And there's one part of the episode where Andy describes our sensitivity as sort of like a sponge where we absorb all of our surroundings, so the good, the bad, and everything in between. And lately, it's felt like just a lot more bad things than normal. And with the current state of the world, I felt like I was absorbing a lot more bad things than I realized by constantly doom scrolling from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to bed, and just overloading my nervous system without even really realizing it. In this episode, Andy talks about how we need to wring out the sponge for it to be useful. So for example, if we're using a sponge for the dishes and it's full of water, it comes to a point where it's so full of water that you can't add any more soap, you're not creating any more suds, and therefore you're not really effectively washing the dishes. And so that really stuck out to me. And I am determined to wring out my sponge and start reconnecting with my creativity again, because I have missed being creative, but have also just been so exhausted by the constant influx of news that I just didn't have any motivation to create anything. The first thing I did was just write it all out into a journal. I felt like it had been so long since I even touched, let alone written in a journal, so I kind of just word vomited all of my fears, all of my hesitations, and got it out on paper, which felt so much better. The second thing I did was trying a new craft. I find that when I'm trying something new, it activates a different part of my brain that is curious and forgiving and not so judgmental like in the past. So this time I tried out punch needling, which was my first time ever, and it was really fun, but it actually really hurt my wrist by the end of it. So I don't think fiber arts is for me per se, but it was really fun to try something new. And now I have 2 coasters to use. The third thing that I did was I went back to an easy journaling spread that I know I will always have fun with. And for me, that is creating a monochrome spread. And so I have this binder filled with junk that I just collect over time, and had enough junk to create a black and white monochrome spread. By collecting junk over time, it really helps in situations where I'm out and I don't collect enough spread for one journal spread dedicated to it. So I really like to collect junk throughout time and then kind of create like these junk dump spreads, especially when it's monochrome, so that I know that it's going to come out aesthetic and pretty to my liking. Lastly, I'm reminding myself that joy and creativity are so necessary as a way to connect with community during hard times. So staying creative when the world feels like it's collapsing is an act of its own resistance. So let this be a reminder to stay creative and stay strong.